this is gonna be the kick up, starting with the hands on the floor. If you have any kind of fear falling towards your backside, I recommend having a wall behind you when doing any kind of kick up drill in the beginning. In this variation, we're gonna start already with our hands on the floor and then try to initiate our kick up from this position. This is gonna make the whole movement simpler to perform, but it is also gonna make it slightly harder to generate enough momentum to get up to the wall, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because that's also gonna force you to develop more control over the movement. Now we're gonna set up with our hands on the floor, and we want to position the shoulders right over our hands or slightly towards the finger side. You should feel that you're already having quite a bit of weight in your hands. So we are loading the arms, you could say. I'm also thinking about pushing my shoulders down into the floor, into the direction of the floor. And this idea of actively pushing from the shoulder is one of the main concepts for being able to control your kick up. So that's gonna be a big focus here, thinking about keep pushing through the shoulder as we go through the kick up. Alright? So that's actually the main thing I'm gonna think about. Putting my shoulders into position, pushing into the floor, and then I'm gonna do small kick up. No hurry here. You can start small and that's no problem. We are chasing control, not height, at least to start with. But if that feels alright, and we get that kind of short, floaty feeling, then we can start to add a bit more height. Oopsie. And maybe just a bit more height. And of course, eventually we will get all the way up and touch the wall. No hurry here though. Also notice how I'm just letting the bottom leg, I'm just allowing the bottom leg to kind of hang loose and stay low. No hurry collecting the legs. Just gonna let that kind of stay down until I eventually get all the way up. Oops, and only then would I actually be interested in starting to collect the legs. So those are the main pointers. Keeping the shoulders right over the hands and slightly in front, and getting that active push from the shoulders, trying to push the shoulder blades in the direction of the floor. If you're having a hard time getting up or getting more height, usually it's less about generating more momentum from the legs and more about being able to push more through the shoulders. A few bonus things or extra details we can look into is, first of all, that the starting position and how high you're positioning your hips is going to be individual. So usually if people are a bit more towards the flexible side, they will usually like to keep their hips a bit higher as they do their kick up. And if people are a bit less flexible, they will usually like to start with the hips a little bit lower. But this can vary, and that's completely fine. Just know that you're not doing it wrong just because your starting position doesn't look exactly like mine. The second thing is what the legs are doing. So we have, of course, one leg that is bent and pulled up towards our chest, and another one that is straight, which is the back leg. The back leg is going to be performing a swinging motion, and the front leg is going to be performing a pushing motion. Now the cool thing is that for a lot of people, you won't have to spend a lot of time working on how to coordinate the legs. Once you have the basic pattern down, it's more about learning to actually use the shoulders.